let's try that again. Michael McCalla from Lean Agile Intelligence. Welcome to the Agile Leadership Camp videocast. How are you today, sir?
Good, good. Thanks, Jeff. I appreciate it.
Great. You're going to be one of our 10 lightning speakers at Agile Leadership Camp 2018 in DC. And why don't you tell our viewers a little bit about yourself and your company?
Sure. So my name is Michael McCalla. I have been an enterprise Agile coach in the Philadelphia area for the past 8 years, helping organizations with Agile transformations. 3 years ago, I created a platform, Lean Agile Intelligence, which is an outcome-driven assessment, improvement, and measurement platform. What I really see myself over the years in being in the Agile space is more of just a person who facilitates problem solving. I really pride myself on a pragmatic approach that finds a good fit for that unique situation. So I'm not necessarily married to any framework. I'm not necessarily prescriptive in my approach, but instead I use a very pragmatic approach in which, I use a lot of the Agile practices given to us by great thought leaders. And I like to mix and match and drive improvement that way. Really just finding out what works for the client or for the team, for the enterprise, whatever it may be.
Right.
I've been an activist in the community for the past probably 3-4 years. I've spoken at a number of conferences over the years. I was a reviewer on the Agile Practice Guide, which was a collaboration effort between the PMI and Agile Alliance.
Right.
That was a great experience. We did that last year. I was original board member of the Agile Uprising, which is an online community of practitioners focusing on learning from one another's experiences. So I've been very active in the community, Jeff, working with different clients. And now I'm taking kind of that subject matter, that broad breadth of subject matter expertise, and have built a platform to help organizations drive change. The whole gist behind Lean Agile Intelligence is really to use outcomes to drive the adoption of the practices that you adopt as an Agile organization. Let's look instead at the outcomes that you want to achieve and let that drive the practices you adopt. And then let's self-assess ourselves on those practices so we can identify areas for improvement.
Right.
And if you do that across the organization, you'll start to see patterns preventing agility. And that's really what Lean Agile Intelligence is all about. It allows organizations to customize assessments based off of their needs, allow teams to assess themselves. It gives them a stake in the game, gives them a voice and invitation to improve. And then it allows leadership and coaches to take a look at the patterns across the organization that could really help identify proactively constraints that are preventing agility and for what we want to achieve. So it's a whole different take and a whole different approach to Agile assessments than any of the traditional approaches out there.
Right. That's fantastic. I'm assuming we're going to hear a little bit about that at the camp, right?
Yeah, absolutely. The model that I'm going to be talking about, the outcome measurement model, is really at the core of the platform. We really take a look at, again, the desired outcomes, very outside in. And you can do that on every level of the org. What is the desired outcome of the team? What is the desired outcome of the program? What is the desired outcome of the enterprise as a whole? And then self-assess yourselves on the practices that'll help you achieve that. Baseline, identify tactical improvements, and then let's measure. Let's measure leading and lagging indicators, so we know whether or not our adoption is moving the needle. to bring that full circle.
That's the important part, right?
Yep, absolutely. And it's interesting, right? Really what started me on this was I found that a lot of organizations couldn't necessarily answer why. Sure, they gave the cliche answer about, we want to deliver value quicker to our customers, right? But really, you know, when you peel it back, it was really because, you know, the organization down the street, our competitors doing Agile, right? And I think that sets up that patterns of failure that you see in a lot of these organizations, that there's really no common mission and understanding of why they're adopting Agile.
That's a good point. Yeah, we use a similar expression. We always say it's because the cool kids are using it down the block.
No doubt. Yep.
Doing it. Well, that's fantastic. We're looking forward to seeing it. If you had one or two key takeaways for the audience, what do you think those are going to be in your talk?
Well, obviously, I really think that folks need to look at the outcomes they want to achieve. And it could be different. It could be different on every team. It could be different on a program. And that's why we can't be prescriptive in our approach across the enterprise, because these large enterprises are so complex and different across the different units and programs that we really need to realize as practitioners that context is everything. Right. Context and outcomes, and let's let that drive the adoption. And you know what? It might not actually be the same across the organization. Right. Should we have the same reporting patterns? Probably, and we can figure out ways to do that. Do we need the boundaries to operate and self-organize within? Yes, we're an enterprise, but that's the first thing. And then the second thing would be, let's measure, and let's use those measurements appropriately. Right? They're not the Bible. They're going to complement kind of the look and feel, well, I guess for lack of a better term, the gut feel for how things are going. But we need to look at both leading and lagging indicators to see if our efforts are bearing fruit. Very much, a lean startup approach to Agile adoption. Right? Let's start. Here's our outcome. Let's then measure, whether or not we're moving the needle or our efforts are bearing fruit. And then let's pivot and persevere using those practices. So that's kind of always been my approach.
Right. Let's use Agile to be Agile.
How about that?
Right. That's a great thought. Well, Michael, thanks so much for giving our viewers a preview of your speech. And we're looking forward to seeing you on May 3rd at the Agile Leadership Camp in Washington, D.C. Thanks for joining us today.
Jeff, I'm looking forward to learning from other practitioners and helping organizations find their way.
It's going to be a great day. Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you.